Welcome to another episode of For You to Survive. Today we got a jam-packed episode with how to heat yourself in the wintertime. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. So you kind of have three methods to keep yourself warm. One, if you bring a sleeping bag, you have a sleeping bag. Two, activity. So you have to be moving around and generating heat. So when you hike in or do things, cut wood, that's going to keep you warm. And the third one is a fire. So the fire one is external, so you'd have to be able to chop some wood, saw some wood, break some wood up so you can use it for the night. So those are the three methods. Probably the easiest one is having a sleeping bag, because once you're warm inside a sleeping bag, you're set. But with a fire, you have to keep constantly looking for firewood, processing it, and burning it. So, which is great, but that costs energy. So if calories are an issue, that could be against you. But a sleeping bag, it's going to be something that you just stay in and stay warm. But you have to have it and you have to carry it. So that's the cost there. In activity, you can only go so long before you have to stop, rest, and eat, drink, and not be exhausted. So activity can only go so far. Those are the options you have to balance for being outside and staying warm. And let's talk about tools and gear. I can improvise this saw, and it's a great saw. I've cut a lot of wood with these over the years. But if I have this saw that I can put together in seconds, well, I can stay warm instead of having to get warm. That's going to be critical to keep yourself warm. You want to maintain your 98.6 degree body so you stay warm in these conditions. Don't let it get cold. Then you got to work even harder to warm it up. So stay warm is better than getting warm. This tool will save me time so I can stay warm. This one will take a little extra time, but that's less time for me to gather firewood. Something to consider. It all depends on what your situation is, though. Here's another thing, my survival scarf. It would be great as an actual scarf, and that's what I'm going to use it for momentarily, but I have another use for it. I like to open it wide, get as much coverage as I can. Do a wrap. Tuck everything in. And there I go. Instantly warmer, because I'm trapping heat around my neck area, because that loses a lot of heat. What happens if my hat's not warm enough? Put the hood over your head. Whether it's stylish or not, doesn't matter. You're warm. That's what counts. But what if I filled this scarf up with some insulation? Here we have some beech leaves. And that could be potential insulation. You want to get rid of the wet ones, but yeah, this could be a possible way to stuff my survival scarf and make it warmer. I've stuffed it with cattail fluff in a blanket video that I had before. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. But yes, stuffing it with grass, leaves, moss, anything that's dry. Maybe punky wood. You name it. Try it out. Find something dry and fluffy. Even paper if you have extra paper. Who knows what the situation is. Crumble it up and put it inside. Take a different page, a different sheet, put it inside. Basically make bulk, because insulation is bulk and air gaps. That's what you want to trap, is a warm air. Dead air space is what it's all about. There's a bunch of leaves here that I could use as insulation. Once I shake the snow off, I find out that there's no snow on them, and they feel dry. So this would actually be a viable source of insulation on a day like this. Yes, I'd have to gather a lot of them. I don't want to put any wet or snowy leaves inside my survival scarf to make that vest, because that's going to eventually get wet and cool me down. So I prefer to put dry leaves in. All right, let's make the survival scarf work. I'm going to take the ends and cinch them up, wrap them around, and then I'm going to tie a reef knot, a square knot. Left over right for me, and right over left. That's going to secure one side. I'm under no illusion that you can find sphagnum moss today. So I brought some insulation just to demonstrate the technique. So here's two 13-gallon bags full. I'm going to fill the survival scarf with this sphagnum moss. This really light, dry, fluffy insulation. Look at that. Nice. I'll put that inside. You can fluff it up for more insulation value. I'll add this bag of moss. I've used tree leaves before and they work surprisingly well. You just have to get the stuff before the snow comes. So if it's dry and you know the snow is coming, gather your resources while you have a chance. All right. Now that I have my moss in the bag, I'm going to tie the other side. I'll cinch the ends. I'm going to wrap around once, go in the opposite direction for the other one. Do it again and again. Now, same thing, reef knot. Left over right, or right over left. And that's going to secure the end. Fluff it up. Get that dead air space. I want to evenly distribute the insulation on the front and back side of this. So now I can put some on the front and I have some for the back. I have two small cords. I have a tiny one that I took from a fire starter, and I have about a 6-foot long cord extra, and that's about the size that fits into the end of the survival scarf. So if you made your survival scarf with a 12-foot piece of parachute cord, you could cut that and you'd have extra to use. So essentially what I got to do is tie this on me. So I got it around the scarf and tie a reef knot in the front. So I can adjust where the insulation goes, so I can use that cord to my advantage. You can see how things want to fall off the shoulder here. So here's where that little piece of string comes in handy. You take it and you simply tie a knot in there, or whatever kind of knot you want. Okay. So now this is on my shoulder and it's going to stay out of the way. I can use my arms freely and do things. Trouble was, the back of it got messed up. The insulation came out, so I'm just going to retie the front knot and be good to go. Adjusting the insulation. This is like jump rope. All right, now to tie it off. I'll adjust as I need to. So I got plenty of insulation on the front, plenty of insulation on the back. It may look ridiculous, but it's going to keep me warmer. Wow, it's surprisingly warm, no matter how it looks. Yeah, that's taking a chill. I can feel my core warming up already. Yeah, that's a good technique. I want to talk about a 2-bottle system. This is a regular bottle that's a single-walled steel bottle. And it has a lid, little gasket on it that's rubberized. But this other one is an insulated bottle. And I have an extra pair of wool socks, so that could be extra insulation for mittens if I need them. But in this case, it's keeping this bottle warm, because usually around the lid is where the heat escapes. The rest of it usually stays pretty warm. With this bottle, I filled it up with boiling water before I came. So now I know I have hot water. So if I need to make that hot chocolate, if I need to make that dehydrated meal warmed up, I have this bottle for it. So that's great. I already have a source of warmth. Now, how can I apply it? I can put this water into this single-walled bottle and use this as a heater. So I'm going to do that now. Got to be careful because this is going to get hot, which is the whole point. Oh yeah, I wasn't kidding. So now the lid goes on. I'm gonna keep whatever hot water is left in here because that's still valuable. Heat. Make sure it's secure. Do a little test, and then put the sock on this one, the insulated one, and then the hot one here. Because right now I got a hand warmer here, but it's way too hot of a hand warmer. So I got to do the smart thing and put it in something. So one, the sock's going to keep heat inside my hand warmer so it doesn't get too cold too quick, but also it's going to allow me to be able to handle this so my hands stay warm, because my hands are starting to get cold with this filming. I could tie a knot if I wanted, but this feels good. This feels good. My hands needed that warmth. So now I have a heater. So that's a 2-bottle system. I have the insulated bottle to keep hot water in, or if I make some hot water by the fire, I could put the hot water in the insulated bottle. And I can transport water in the single-walled bottle. I could transport it warm, then it'll gradually cool off or quickly cool off depending on the temperature. But I have a hand warmer as I travel. I have 2 water bottles here. I have a regular water bottle, and I have one that fit carbonated water in, this green one. If I put hot water in this bottle, chances are it's going to shrink or deform or not hold up to the challenge. The carbonated water bottles are made a lot stronger so they can handle the carbonation pressure, but that also means it's better plastic. So if I put warmer water in here, not hot, not boiling water, warmer water in here to use as a hand warmer, this is going to hold up better than a regular water bottle would. I talked about how putting the sock on the water bottle allows you to hold the water bottle without burning yourself, so you can actually get the heat without getting injured. But you may find that if you have a lot of clothes, I had this thick sweater, so I should be able to put that inside my jacket here and stay warm that way. But what's going to keep the bottle from falling down? If we have our saw blade belt, we can use that as a help. The saw blade belt is that extra piece of gear. So now I can trap the heat in with this water bottle. Now this water bottle is keeping my core warm, and that's a huge big advantage to me. So now I could feel a lot better. Well, the same is true if I put a bit of freeze-dried food in once I dump the boiling water in. So that's going to keep me warm that way. It's just another option. And the saw blade belt is going to keep the food from traveling down. I did that one time when I was cold and I was hiking, and I was like, wow, what a difference it made, because I really didn't have a heat source, and that was before I had enough time to hike enough and generate my own body heat to stay warm. This next one's kind of fun. Different stores, restaurants, whatever, have coffee. You can buy it by the box. So this is basically a box of coffee. If somebody brings a box of coffee to your office, save it, and then you can use it later. So essentially, you undo it. Inside is a Mylar bag. So now there's this nice Mylar bag with a screw lid. So the screw lid makes me feel more secure than if it was some kind of like plug that you push in and it stays together. Well, how do we use this thing? When you take it with you, it packs down quite small. I have it in a little bag here. This is a really useful kit item that might just save your life. It fits nicely in a sandwich bag. So now I know that it's clean. This bag was never used before, so that way I know it's clean inside, so I can store water in it that's purified or clean or never been, from the lake or stream. Or if I want to just use this as my lake bag, I can fill it up from lake water, stream water, and then purify that later on, so I have a way of carrying water. I don't know how this plastic would hold up because I haven't used it, but this is another water carrier. So let's do something practical with this. I'm going to take the lid off, put it in my pocket so I don't lose it, take out my hot water. This could be from the insulated bottle, or it could be from the single wall bottle, as long as it's hot water. The water that I'm going to put in here should be comfortably warm. You don't want it like piping hot or too hot where you scald and burn yourself. And you don't want to spill any of it. So I'm going to fill this up as best I can. It may do me good to put this bottle in a fire and heat up some more water to fill this up as much as I need. But for the sake of example, I'm going to fill up with what I had in this bottle. I'm going to secure the lid. Losing gear in the wintertime is potentially very easy because you drop it in the snow, goodbye. So there's a decent amount of water in here, and it's warm enough, not scalding hot, but make sure the lid's closed. Maybe you put some tape around it to make sure the lid's not going to come off if you have duct tape with you. But if you're going to put this with you in a sleeping bag or even in your clothes to stay warm, you might be worried about the bag popping. Well, if you are, the potential solution is to use a dry bag. Here I have an 8-liter dry bag, and what I'm going to do is put this Mylar bag inside of it. When the Mylar bag's in there, you want to kind of take out whatever air you can get out, and you want to roll it 3 times. 1, 2, 3 minimum. I could do a 4th one, and yeah, 4th one is all I get. So lock it in there, and now I can put that bag inside my jacket so now my core can stay warm. Or I could put that in a sleeping bag, and that's going to help me stay warm. The dry bag is kind of insurance that if something would happen in a Mylar bag and it would break, pop, open up somehow, I would at least have some way of not getting wet, either from my jacket or if I was in a sleeping bag. But if you have a sleeping bag, that implies you're more prepared than a day hiker or on the fly kind of movement, so you're probably going to have more gear and maybe not even need this at all. Who's to say you can't even take this bag of water and use that as a fire extinguisher and put your fire out? Obviously, with all the snow around, it's not so much of an issue, but if there wasn't snow, this might be a good tool to extinguish a fire. I'm going to use this bag to stay warm while I go to my shelter. Already a difference. Yep, there it is. I'm glad I made this when it was dry. You don't want to go in this thing all covered with snow, so dust yourself off. That way the snow doesn't melt and make you colder. I remember in the military, one guy was like, why do we need a brush? That doesn't make sense. Well, the brush is to brush snow off of you, so before you get into your tent, you'll stay warmer because you're getting all that snow that's going to melt and turn into water, which is going to freeze you. The bag, and then now we can get in and be warm. I got my warm Mylar water bag in here with me, and that's going to give me a much better chance of resting and staying warm than if I didn't have it. Avoid sitting on the cold ground or logs, anything that can steal heat from your body. I set up this hammock, but I'm using it like a little sling chair. Next, let's talk about food. I have some freeze-dried food that has to be warmed up with boiling water. So I'll take it, find that little desiccant packet, get that out of the way. We'll take our boiling water from the vacuum sealed bottle, add it to the food. I should measure, but I'm just gonna do what I know. Make sure it's wet enough. I'm gonna put the lid back on because I want to keep whatever heat is left in here in the bottle. Now I'll seal it up. it's important to get a good seal because you don't want this to leak. Because what I'm going to do is the same thing I did with the bottle. I'm going to put it inside here, and while I'm doing other things, or while I'm resting, or even if I'm just needing to warm up, I'm going to be here. I could even hike out like this. I did it before. I got my saw blade belt here, keeping the food from falling down, so now I can know that this freeze-dried food is going to warm up and warm me up at the same time. So it's actually going to keep it warmer because I'm insulating it with my wool layers. Again, you got to have like some thick wool or some kind of layers that's not going to burn you. If it's just a t-shirt or your bare skin, you don't want to do this. So this is a nice way to stay warm and warm up. Then, once I'm done, I have the ability to eat warm food. Warm food is actually going to keep me warm too. So there's a dual purpose there. So I get a double benefit out of this one. Anybody who's been watching my channel for any length of time knows that I'm pretty proficient in a bow drill, but yes, the bow drill is going to warm me up when I try to make a fire, but that's time. You're racing time, coldness, cold hands, cold body. If I have a lighter, I have fire instantly. Or I can carry waterproof matches in a waterproof bag, so that's going to save me a lot of time. Time I can spend for gathering firewood. Time I could spend not getting colder. So time is definitely your race, because you might be racing daylight, so you have more time to get wood, firewood, or build a camp. So anything you can do to save time so you stay warmer, that's what I want you to remember. That fire is one of my #1 ways to warm up. Oh, this feels good. I need that. It dries my hands off too, so any wet snow or any moisture gets taken away, so I don't freeze as quickly. Let's see what's going on here. Well, it looks like the water bottle is boiling, and the bush mug is boiling too. For the water bottle, you can't put a lid on it because you don't want to risk an explosion. And you can't use a double-walled insulated water bottle. This one I have here is single-walled, so that's not going to explode, and is boiling nicely. And my bush mug, I can make some tea out of it. There we go. I'll get that in there. And usually what I do is I like to have it off the fire, and then I let it steep for 10 minutes or so. All right. It's been long enough. Time to enjoy some tea. The hemlock needles go away. And now for a nice warm drink. Oh yeah, that taste is so good. It's an acquired taste, but for me, since I drink it out in the bush, in the woods, oh, it tastes so good right now. Oh yeah, that's gonna warm me up from the inside out. This warm bottle is helping me out quite a bit. I could heat up a hot rock and put it inside the sock so I can do the same thing. So that's another option too. Where do you get rocks in the winter? Well, here's the edge of a lake, so there's some rocks there. I'm gonna take this one, which is frozen in. But that one is big enough to be like a little hand warmer for me. I'm just gonna go right in the fire. I'm gonna let that heat that rock up. It's gonna dry it off, and I can't let it get too hot because I don't want to burn myself, but I can put it in a sock or insulate it, so it's gonna be nice for me. Here's something that people kind of know they should do but probably don't do it, is whenever you stop for camp or some situation, is to have extra clothes that you can put on. Like in this case, I have snow pants, so I can put these on over top of these pants and stay warmer. And I have a down jacket here. I can put this down jacket over top of my clothes here, and I can stay warmer on the top side. So I got the pants for the bottom, the down jacket for the top, and that could keep me warmer. Of course, this acts as a signal because it's orange, but it's extra insulation, it's extra warmth, and that can make the difference. But people tend not to like to carry extra clothes, even though I think they know they should. I guess it's the bulk or the weight or something, but there seems to be some disconnect. But if you have the clothes, you'll be so glad you do, and you'll stay nice and warm. It's kind of more obvious at this time of year, but other times of the year when it's like 40, 50 degrees, when people die of hypothermia, people tend not to carry extra clothes. I can see that, because if it's summer and you plan on getting back the same day, why would you carry extra clothes? But, well, people die in 40, 50 degree hypothermic weather if they get lost or stranded on a day hike, so don't take that chance. Carry a little bit of extra clothes. Clothes make all the difference. Those socks that I put on the water bottle, well, it's great to have an extra pair of socks, wool socks especially. So make sure you dress properly for the weather you're in. Obvious information, but, well, sometimes we don't. Let's check on that hot rock. This is where leather gloves are helpful. So there's the rock. It's quite warm. It's kind of like that hot. So I'm going to let it cool off, but I'll be able to transport it with holding it in my gloves. Okay, this is like a hot potato. I got this rock, it's about hand size, but it's warm enough to keep in my gloves, but I may have to transfer it from hand to hand from time to time, which is actually good because one hand will get colder and one hand will get warmer. So when this hand gets cold, I put the hot rock in this hand and warm it up. Once this gets cold, I can transfer it. Or if this hand is too hot, I can put it in this other hand. And as time goes by in this temperature, the rock's going to cool off, so I'll be okay. So I can just play kind of like this juggling game, which is kind of fun, but it's definitely keeping my hand warm. So that's what I'm going to do. I got to put the fire out now. But the important thing is now I have a way to take some heat with me from the fire that I made, so I'm actually ahead of the game. So if my hands do get cold in the process of putting out the fire, I have a way of staying warm. And the fire actually comes with me in the form of the heat in the rock, so that's kind of cool. These gaiters actually are keeping me warm because I could have a lot of snow in this area of my leg, and I don't because the gaiters are keeping the snow out. I may have a little bit of snow above it a little bit, but that's saving me a whole lot of loss of heat from my leg down there. So gaiters are a really nice winter kind of clothing. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers, and I hope this information keeps you warm in the woods.